What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Fantasy Football Game Show brought to you by Front Yard Fantasy here on Better Sports Network. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-hosts, John Luke Garofalo and Joey Wright. And joining us today for their inaugural appearance on the Fantasy Football Game Show, as Craig let us know in the chat, is our friend Justin Herzig. For those of you that do not know Justin, you can find him on Twitter at Justin Herzig. It's right there below his handsome face on the screen. He is the winner of Best Ball Mania 1 and the Best Ball expert over at Establish the Run and co-founder of Own the Moment. Justin, thank you so much for coming on here today with us to play some poll perception.
Appreciate it, gentlemen. I'm excited. I've done a few podcasts in my day. Sometimes we draft, sometimes we talk strategy, sometimes it's player takes, but this is nothing like that. This is a game show. This is really what my entire illustrious career has been heading towards, is going to a fantasy football game show.
Let's go.
It's not the first time we've heard that.
Yeah. All right. Can we run this again? We're not live, right? This is recorded. Let's try again.
This is we love playing games, so we made it what we do every day. And we're glad to have you here playing with us today, Justin. Craig in here, as we mentioned, letting us know that he's making his inaugural appearance. Anybody on the screen, can you do that Roman numeral? You'll start off the game with 1 moral point. Because I can't do it.
See,
5-1. Damn.
No, 5.
Oh, wait. If we would have just read further in the sentence, Craig then tells us it's 151 in Roman numerals as requested. Thanks so much, Craig. JL, Joey, how are you guys doing today?
Fantastic.
I am wide awake and ready to play poll perception.
Well, let's do it. We got some people in the chat ready for today's show. Grim fan down here. Yay, poll perception time. We got Albert in here. What's up, Albert? Welcome. And Dame stopping by saying hi to everybody. What's up, Dame? Toronto Dave down here. Welcome in, Toronto Dave. Scamper says, beautiful afternoon, FYF fam. What's up, Mr. Scampers? And Grimfin had a question for us to kick us off. So before we get into our game, I thought this would be a good question to talk about. There were 2 injuries today. One we know the results of, one we do not. Russell Gage out for the season. Treylon Burks, it did not look good, but we do not have official reports yet on what the outcome of that injury is. Grim wants to know how this is going to affect the receiving core of both the Bucs and Titans. We've got 2 Bucs fans on with us today. Usually Joey's all alone, but Justin, I'm going to throw this one to you first. With Russell Gage specifically, do you think this has any impact on this Tampa Bay offense?
I mean, I feel like bad still turns into bad. I mean, I think from a fantasy wise, like we were already expecting Chris Godwin and Mike Evans just to have a pretty concentrated target share, which makes them like actually viable despite the offense overall being poor. I think the big like opportunity here is 6th round draft pick Trey Palmer. Coincidentally, he also had a 60-yard touchdown in practice today. But I think like he's the one who's kind of flashed a little, has the speed. And I'm not expecting him to ever get more than, maybe 4 or 5 targets in a game. But, hey, I don't think this happens. Tampa really loves Mike Evans. It seems like they really want him just like to be a part. He's a part of the community, and I think it's a long-term thing. But if they were to trade someone at the deadline, Godwin, Evans, then Trey Palmer could kind of increase his actual opportunity, maybe just a name to watch.
You made Joey sad a little bit there with just the idea of Mike Evans leaving town.
Well, it would just be very apt since I just bought the jersey for him to leave. It happened to me with the Braves with John Smoltz. I bought a John Smoltz jersey, and he left the team like 3 months later.
That makes it limited edition, right? That's a commodity.
Right?
It's valuable.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling myself about my Baker Mayfield Browns jersey. It's just limited edition. It's just cool, Joey, on the Treylon Burks side of this question, now we don't know the outcome yet. It did not look good. Let's say for the purposes of answering Grim's question, assume the worst. Assume Treylon Burks is out for the season. What does that mean for not only the Titans receiving core, but the fantasy options there as a whole?
I think a Chig Okonkwo comes back from the dead. I think everyone just kind of wrote him off once DeAndre Hopkins came into town, and Chig might actually get the work that maybe we were expecting from him this year now. If something happened to Treylon Burks, which I hope not. I hope Treylon Burks is on the field healthy. You said it before the show. I hope it's like a Justin Ross 2.0 from yesterday, where he got hurt, got carted off the field yesterday in Chiefs camp, and then he was out there catching crazy passes today. So I think Chig might benefit if something happens to Burks. None of the other receiving options really do much for me. I do like Justin shouting out the Bucks with Trey Palmer. If they go the veteran for the first couple weeks to kind of roll Trey Palmer in a little bit, David Moore might find a little bit of work in like DFS lineups for really, really cheap. But other than that, like I'm not expecting much from the Tampa Bay receivers this year other than Godwin and Evans.
Let's combine the two. Mike Evans, the Tennessee.
Who says no? A DeAndre Hopkins, Mike Evans receiving core. My body might explode with. Those are like two of my favorite players of all time.
Tennessee's kind of all in this year. They did it when they signed DeAndre Hopkins. This is kind of you're at the end of the Derrick Henry. You're at the end of the Ryan Tannehill. It wouldn't shock me if they actually tried to kind of bring in a veteran.
Ooh, that's kind of gross to think of them being all in. That doesn't feel all in, but I think you're right. I think they are all in.
Do you think they'd shoot for Evans or go for Godwin, though?
I mean, I think they love Godwin, but I think Godwin actually has a role in the future of Tampa. Mike Evans is a bit more of a kind of emotional attachment for Tampa. But I don't know. You've got a couple other wide receivers that I could see as possibilities out there. But yeah.
We've got Andrea in here saying hi, everyone. What's up, Andrea? Welcome in.
Yeah, what's up?
You're just in time because we are about to start our game of poll perception for today. I'm going to explain the rules here shortly, then we'll get started. But before we do that, a couple reminders. First and foremost, if you're not already following our guest, Justin, remedy that immediately. You can find him on Twitter at Justin Herzig. It's right there below his face, or it's in the link to this video if you're watching on YouTube, on the Front Yard Fantasy channel, or on the Better Sports Network YouTube channel. While you're there, if you hit that subscribe button, it's the easiest way to show your support for what we're doing. And if you hit the little notification bell right there next to it, Joey, I'm going to fight you if you don't stop giggling down there. If you hit the little notification bell right next to it, you'll make sure you never miss another one of our shows live every day at 3 p.m. Eastern time, Monday through Friday. And one more reminder before we get out of here, tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time here on Better Sports Network, Lisa Ann is going to be back on BSN, joined by Howard Bender for Lisa Ann Does Fantasy Better. You can chat with Lisa Ann and Howard about fantasy football and your favorite sports. Get some lineup tips and some draft strategies from them. That's tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time here on Better Sports Network. All right. You guys ready to get into our game?
Absolutely.
Let's do it. I see Nathan popping in saying hello. What's up, Nathan? Welcome in. And Craig is saying JL is stuck on win 98. I'm on Team JL until he gets to be the first to win 100. So JL, you're so close. And now you're quiet.
It's not looking bright, Craig. It's not looking bright.
All right. Well, guys, the game today is poll perception. How it's going to work is before the show, I found 7 beautiful, interesting, delectable polls online that I'm going to pose to our contestants. Your job is to guess the results, to suss out what the public thinks. Now, whenever it's your turn, I will propose a poll to you like, what percentage of people would prefer Saquon Barkley over DeAndre Hopkins in Dynasty? You're going to give me the percentage of people that chose that first option, side A. So Saquon Barkley in this case. The closer you are to the actual number, the more points you're going to get, up to a max of 10 if you are exactly right. 1 if you're 15 away, and it's going to scale up within there. If you're more than 15 away, though, you are going to get 0 points. Now, the other 2 contestants will have the opportunity to score even when it is your turn. After you set the line, and before I tell you how close you are, JL and Joey, if this was your turn, you would be guessing the over-under on the line that was previously set by Justin in this hypothetical round. If you correctly guess the over-under, you are going to get 2 points, putting you on the board. We're going to rotate who the guesser is through 6 rounds, 2 polls for each of you, till we get to the 7th and final round. And Justin, my tradition continues. I did not alert you ahead of time that you would need pen and paper or something to write on. But in that 7th round, you'll need something you can write down and answer on, either your phone, pen, paper, your face with nail polish, whatever you can find. Because there's no more over-under nonsense in that round. Everyone's going to be guessing the results. Whoever's the closest is getting 5 points. Unless they hit it spot on, they'll get 10. Whoever's got the most points at the end of that 7th and final poll will be our poll perception champion for today. You ready?
Yeah.
I have one question. I feel like I need to get on level playing field. Who are we talking about population-wise? Like, who's answering these questions?
These generally come from fantasy Twitter is where these are coming from.
Good enough.
If they come from an account that I feel would affect the results, like a team account or something, then I'll fantasy reveal that Twitter. In the question. Grimfan said, I queen bee all the rules that Simon just said. And that's a great point, Grimfan. We do have one other rule I didn't mention. You don't have to guess over. You don't have to guess under. You can guess queen bee, which means you think that the person is exactly right on the nose. It has never been hit on the show. It is statistically improbable, but we will reward you with 10 points if you do that and hit it. All right. With that being said, the order for today's game is going to be Joey, Justin, then JL. So Justin, you'll be going in the middle. Joey, you're going first. JL, you are bringing up the rear. Joey, you ready for your first poll?
Look at all those J's today. This is great.
That's the best.
I love this. Yeah, I'm ready. Simon, let's go with my first poll for the day.
Okay, so Joey, your first poll is, which side do you prefer in a 12-team Superflex PPR Dynasty League? Is it side A, Joe Mixon plus a 2024 second, or side B, Cam Akers plus a 2024 fourth?
What am I missing here? I think side A is going to win quite handedly. They have the best player in the trade plus the best pick. I want to get points here.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to see how high I can go. I'm going to go 90% side. Let me read this again. What am I missing? Which side do you prefer in 12-team Superflex PPR Dynasty? Side A, Joe Mixon, and the 2024 second. Side B, Cam Akers, and 20. Okay, I didn't miss anything here. Side A, I'm going to go 90%.
90% on
Actually,
side.
no. Because Des Bryant said hi to me this weekend, very briefly, 88%.
88%. Shout out, Des.
There we go.
Joey still hasn't brushed his teeth because that was the voice that talked to him. All right.
Never
Justin.
brushed Dez's teeth.
Justin, this is coming to you. Do you think the actual percentage of people that chose the Joe Mixon in 2024 second side of this is over or under Joey's guess of 88%?
I'm going under. I like his process, and I think I agree with everything there. This seems quite lopsided, but it's hard to get more than 90% of people to agree on anything. I'll go under.
Under from Justin. JL, you following Justin here, or are you taking the over on Joey's guess of 88%?
I can't think for myself, so I am following Justin here. Let's take the under.
Beautiful. Following Justin, we got double under, reverse split the room, Joey. And we got some guesses in the chat. This is a reminder to everybody watching. If you've never played with us before, throw your guesses in the chat. We'll shout you out if you're very right. We'll mock you relentlessly if you're very wrong. And we'll probably just brush over it briefly if it's only an okay guess. Won't really draw attention to it much after that.
Not noteworthy. Make your guesses more noteworthy.
Scamper's in here coming in with 91%. Dame thinks it's 79. Craig was 78. Andrea with 80. Ladarius says 87%. Grim with 93%. Ricky Butts with 82. And Uneasy Allies with 82%. Well, the actual percentage of people that chose the Joe Mixon in 2024 second side of this trade was 79%. Joey, you are within 10 percentage points. So you're going to earn 3 points for that. Both of your contestants correctly guessed the under, so they are going to get 2 points apiece. Joe, you're making a stank face. You think it should be higher?
Did you pull this from Tallahassee Twitter? Like, is that why Cam Akers got so many votes on this? Like that, I don't know.
I think there's a moral Twitter contingency that was actually involved with this one.
Yes. Well, okay. See, that's a good point. That's a really good point, actually.
Yeah. Or do you think age came into play with this at all? That Joe Mixon is an older running back, and there's agists that are very at play in Dynasty.
I think you need to thank Dez, though. Dez got you within 10%.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Dez's team.
I thank Dez for everything every day. I really
Shout out Dez, earning you some points. And Joey, actually Jay here in the chat got it. And also Dame came in before Jay. So sorry, Jay, taking all your credit back, and all credit goes to Dame. Nice job, Dame. Getting that exactly right. We're off to a good start so far. 3-2. I think this was the final score of a game we had the other day that didn't go so well that I played in.
Already knocking this one out of the park today, boys.
We kind of brushed over Cam Akers here. And Justin, I have recused myself from analyzing Cam Akers this year. I just feel like I've done it wrong every time I've tried. So I'm not doing it anymore. So I'm curious to hear your take on Cam Akers for fantasy this year.
Yeah, I actually just put out a tweet earlier today that Miles Sanders, Cam Akers, J.K. Dobbins, Dameon Pierce tier, they're all right next to each other. And it's like, how do you decide between those? For me, I have concerns with just the general offense of the Rams. And I think they really like Kieran Williams. I think Kieran Williams is actually going to play a larger role than what we saw out of Cam Akers to end last year. So for me, I would say I'm probably slightly underweight from like a best ball portfolio standpoint. I don't hate it, but I do like the other guys around him a bit more. I'd probably actually take it like Pierce, Sanders, Dobbins, Akers of that tier.
And so the Kieran Williams, if you are looking at who the backup is there as your preferred option to the rookie Zach Evans?
I think Kieran Williams will have a regular game role. Like he'll probably play some third down, maybe get some goal line. If Cam Akers were to get hurt, I think it turns into just a bit of a more committee aspect. But no one that I'm trying to like go, hey, I think he's the legit, handcuff.
Man, a committee in that Rams offense sounds like fantasy hell. That just sounds like the worst thing ever. All right. Well, guys, after that first poll, the score is 3-2. And Justin, that means this next poll is yours. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Here's what I want to know. Who finishes with more PPR fantasy points per game? Side A, Dalvin Cook, or side B, James Cook? What percentage of people said Dalvin Cook in this poll?
Am I allowed to know when this poll, like you didn't pull this today, or this is a topical question?
This is today. This was posted 16 hours ago. It was post the signing. Okay. This is fresh.
The Cook versus Cook. Who finishes with more PPR fantasy points per game? This is interesting because James Cook has been just absolutely getting steamed the past week or two. Like fantasy Twitter is loving him. Although it seems like the high stakes people are really going to be going James. The more casuals are going with the Dalvin. Who finishes with more PPR fantasy points per game? Okay, I'm going to go with, I think it's James, but I'm thinking that fantasy Twitter may not. I'm going to go James Cook at 55%.
So on the Dalvin Cook side, so for side A, you're going to guess 45%?
I think
James
Cook. Yeah, James Cook.
You'll always guess, how we scored here is you'll always guess the percentage of people that chose the first option.
Okay. So then I think 45% choose Dalvin.
Sick. Perfect. 45% on the Dalvin Cook side of this. I think James Cook is going to win this one. JL, do you think the actual percentage of people that chose Dalvin Cook is over, under, or exactly the same as Justin's guess of 45%?
45 is such a good guess.
Oh, what do you call it? Queen Bee?
Queen Bee. Yeah, I could go Queen Bee if I wasn't a coward. I think I'm going to take the under here. You know what? Queen Bee. Let's go.
He talked himself into it.
It's hump day, baby.
JL Queen being Justin's guess of 45%. Joey, what are you doing here? Are you a coward?
See, I was going to Queen Bee, but now strategy says I shouldn't. I don't think. Oh man. I think it's an excellent guess. I think Justin lied when he said he's not seen poll perception before. I feel like he's watched every single episode, so it's such a good guess. So 45 Dalvin Cook. I'm gonna go slightly under.
Joey taking the under.
It's just under.
JL Queen beat it. And Justin guessed 45%. We have some guesses in the chat for this one. Jay said 36%. Carlos coming in with 33%. Uneasy Allies with 43%. Scampers thinks it's 11%. Dame with 39%. Andrea with 30%. Grimfan with 55%. Ladarius with 41%. And Craig with 42%. And Craig also coming in saying, people forget how old Captain James Cook is. He was alive in the 1700s and is much older than Brother Dalvin. Don't take that into account. Luckily, this was a redraft question, not a dynasty question. So hopefully that shouldn't have come into play too much. He still looks healthy right now. Well, guys, let me put this poll back up for you. Who finishes with more PPR fantasy points per game, Dalvin Cook or James Cook? Justin, you guessed 45% on the Dalvin Cook side, and the actual percentage is 32%, which means being 13 percentage points away, you're still going to get on the board with a point there, bringing you up to 3. Joe, you're going to get 2 points for correctly picking the over-under, bringing you up to 5. Justin, which side would you have responded to this? The Dalvin Cook side or the James Cook side?
I think I did not give the respondents enough credit. I am definitely on the James Cook side. I was trying to kind of, I guess, I didn't give you enough credit. I'm sorry, respondents. Fantasy Twitter, this is my direct apology to you all. I was thinking that you were, you were confused. You were thinking about the past. You were, Aaron Rodgers was just leading you to stray into that dark, dark room, and you'd come out the other side as being Dalvin Cook and not Fabrice. But I was wrong.
Be careful with the premature apologies, because that next poll, they're just going to punch you in the stomach. Now that you trust them, they're just going to rip it right out from underneath you in the next poll. JL, are you more or less interested in drafting Dalvin Cook now that we know the landing spot?
About the same level of interested. I think he's a top talent running back that we've seen kind of fall off. We just haven't seen the same level of production from Dalvin. So while I think the landing spot does matter to some degree here, I think that he's about more or less the same after the signing.
Joey, do you agree with JL here on Dalvin Cook?
Yes, I do. It was a kind of a plateau for him. We knew he was probably going to go into a timeshare situation, and that's what he's looking at. If you've watched the show, you know that I've kind of been down on James Cook because my fear was that the Bills were not going to give him any red zone carries. And then in the preseason game, they give him red zone carries. So I'm starting to kind of get in on James Cook now. I know Damian Harris was a little banged up, so maybe that's why he didn't play in the game at all. And it's preseason, so maybe I shouldn't talk too much into it. But my biggest fear is no red zone carries, and they're trying to give him some to see how he'll do in a preseason game. It perks my ear a little bit.
Also, as promised, Scampers, this was the worst guess out of everyone. You stupid cat. Do better next time.
Oh,
wow.
Earlier, they said they wanted a good mock-in. The Scampers coming in saying, I just like the way you say 11.
11.
All right. Well, after that one, the score is 5-3-2. And JL, we are coming up to your first poll. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. What I want to know is, which side do you prefer in redraft Superflex? Side A is Joe Burrow and Cooper Kupp. Side B is Daniel Jones and Calvin Ridley. What percentage of people said Joe Burrow and Cooper Kupp?
Yuck. Joe Burrow, Cooper Kupp, Daniel Jones, Calvin Ridley. Redraft Superflex. Burrow over Jones easily, and then Kupp over Ridley. What the heck is happening here? Let's go with 82%.
82% on the Burrow and Kupp side.
79%.
79% on the Burrow and Kupp side.
Yep.
Okay. I was about to say I'm writing in pen, so don't make me write it again over it. Otherwise, it's just going to look like blobs. Well, Joey, JL guessed 79% on the Joe Burrow and Cooper Kupp side. Do you think the actual answer is over, under, or exactly the same as JL's guess?
I think maybe like a month ago, this would have been 100% side A, but Burrow was dealing with a little bit of an injury. So is Cooper Kupp. Both those injuries are expected to be fine with Kupp, especially by the start of the season. Burrow might miss a game or two if that happens. So I think that's probably what slid this poll down a little bit. I still think it's over JL's guess. I think JL's guess is fantastic. 79%, you said, JL?
That is what I
think
said.
that's a really great guess. I think it's just slightly over.
Slightly over JL's guess of 79%. Justin, do you think the actual answer is over, under, or exactly the same as JL's guess of 79 on the Cooper Kupp and Joe Burrow side?
Yeah, I think this is an absolute smash over. I mean, when you look at the boat, like, no one's choosing Daniel Jones over Joe Burrow this year. No one's choosing Calvin Ridley over Cooper Kupp this year. I think you had to have accidentally hit the wrong button to have chosen the side B side. So I'm going to say that like 7% of people did not hit the button correctly, and it's like 93. So I'll go over.
Over from Justin. Also, Carlos came in here in response to you, Justin, and said, as the GM of Fantasy Twitter, we can neither accept nor deny your apology. It is just now floating there in the ether. Maybe we'll hear from him eventually.
That's fair.
Scampers came in with 91%. Carlos with 87%. Ricky Butts with 86%. Andrea thinks it's 90%. Ladarius with 90 or 81%. Dame with 95%. Uneasy Allies coming in with 86, and Jay says 98%. And Craig giving you some encouragement, JL. So come on, JL. I put a mortgage payment on you today on a daily fantasy game show bet.
Very poor decision making, Greg. That's a very unwise decision.
But he believes in you. So much so he'd put his family's home
That's
at risk.
Very misguided.
Grimfan with 96%, Albert with 92%, and Craig coming in with 86%. The actual percentage of people that chose the Joe Burrow and Cooper Kupp side of this trade was 95%, meaning JL, you were 16 percentage points away, which is going to get you no points by 1 percentage point. Both of your competitors will score 2 here, adding to their lead ever so slightly. Joey going up to 7. Justin, you are going to be at 5. JL, you're at 2, but that is comebackable in 1 poll. It's still anybody's game here.
This is a perfect example of every team gets 3%. This poll right here, because it ended at 95. So it was just even some Giants fans were like, nah, I'm not going to do that. So this is the perfect example of that, everyone.
Joey, what's 3 plus 95?
98, but there's 2 teams included in the trade. There's Jaguars fans and Giants fans.
So it's almost.
You're splitting it up
So
as if
I split it up.
all
Then
the
I
fan
said
base
Giants
equal
fans
voting
didn't believe it.
Mm.
I could see somebody taking Ridley over Cooper Kupp.
John
Not
Luke,
that I would. I could see it happening though.
I was going to say, whenever we're looking at a wide receiver like Calvin Ridley, he is younger than Cooper Kupp, but he also hasn't played recently. The last time we saw him was on the Falcons. He's down on a new team with Trevor Lawrence. What's your prognosis for his fantasy season? Do you think he immediately takes over as the wide receiver 1 instead of Christian Kirk?
I think that I don't know that he immediately takes over. I think he is in line to take over for Christian Kirk. And I think this offense is going to take a step up from last year. So Calvin Ridley, this year, I'm projecting him as a low-end wide receiver 1, high-end wide receiver 2. And I think that's where he belongs. When you compare him up against Cooper Kupp has that upside, that rapport with Matthew Stafford, this talent. But I'm worried about the system, and I'm worried about the system around him, the injuries around him, as well as his own injury. So there's risk for Cooper Kupp, but I'm still taking him over Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, you could almost break his leg, and I would still take him over Calvin Ridley. But I think Cooper Kupp with 1 leg is just still incredible. Justin, are you equally as optimistic about Calvin Ridley's role that he'll grow into in this Jaguars offense?
Yeah, and I don't even think we need to say grow into. I think from day one, he's going to be that guy. If we look at kind of from preseason, even 2 wide receiver sets, it looks like Zay Jones may actually be playing more 2 wide receiver sets than Christian Kirk. I think like it's going to be an explosive offense. I think they're going to run most coverage where you have 3 wide receivers out in the field. But like Calvin Ridley, he's got that dog in him. That article he wrote, all the preseason camp we're seeing, and then just being bullish on the Jacksonville passing offense this year. I've got a lot of Kirk, Ridley, Zay Jones. Like, I'm happy to draft them all. But, yeah, Ridley, it's him.
That's one of the teams I'm most excited to watch this year. It's one of the teams I'm going to be most disappointed if it's not as good as I hope they are. Damon here with her second exactly right guess of the game. 3 polls, 2 on the money. Dame, you are absolutely killing it. And I believe she asked us to pause the show because she's going to go buy some scratch offs real quick. Yeah, we'll take a pause real quick. Go get those scratch offs.
Scratch them.
Scratch them. Scratch them and sniff them. All right. That is the end of our first round, which means we are going to come back to Joey here. Joey, before we get into that, though, Carlos down here letting us know that JL, he shorted Craig's bet. So you may have kicked Craig out of his home, but you just made Carlos a millionaire.
You're very welcome, Carlos. I'll take my 15% and be on my way.
I'm trying to feel like, what side of that last bet do you think Ridley would have taken?
I think he would have been on Carlos' side.
You would have been on Carlos' side.
That was good. Welcome to FYF.
All right, guys. In this next round, there is an additional rule that we are implementing. Instead of just over, under, and queen bee, there are now 2 more options available to you. You can choose way over or way under as well. This is a double or nothing mechanic, though. If in order to get the points for way over or way under, your opponent's guess will have to be more than 15 percentage points away from the actual answer. This is non-inclusive. So if it is 15 percentage points or less, you will get nothing. But if it is in fact over that, you are going to get 4 points instead of the normal 2. You can choose this if you want as a comeback mechanic, as a way to build your lead, but just know there is the risk of it just being over when you said way over and you get nothing. You guys ready to get into our next round?
Yes.
Let's do it. Rick Budd's coming in here with the fact Dame is
What's
a
up, Rick?
legend. And also Carlos coming in saying, I'd like to see Ridley's win-loss ratio on his illegal NFL bets. That would help me decide where to draft him. And how good is he at reading those systems?
Wasn't it like the Falcons against the Eagles or something?
I thought it wasn't even Falcons involved, if I'm not, or was it Falcons games?
I don't remember. I'll have to look.
I'll have to reread that story.
Yeah.
All right, Joey, here's your next poll. Poll number 4.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes, I am. I was afraid you weren't going to say mechanic when you explained the last thing, and I was getting really upset. Then you said
I
it
always say
twice.
mechanic. Which side do you prefer in 12-team Superflex PPR Dynasty League for a rebuilding team? So lots of words in here. 12-team Superflex PPR Dynasty for a rebuilding team. Side A is Garrett Wilson and Deshaun Watson. Side B is Patrick Mahomes. What percentage of people chose the Garrett Wilson and Deshaun Watson side of this trade?
Okay. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is the dynasty QB 1 or 2, maybe 3 at worst. For people, Garrett Wilson's a top, 5 to 8 wide receiver in dynasty, depending where you have him. So it's definitely a nice piece, but is Deshaun Watson enough to move on from Patrick Mahomes? And I have a hard time. We know Deshaun Watson can be a top 3 quarterback in the league. So it's a very intriguing trade. I still think Patrick Mahomes' side is going to win, even though this trade would be for a rebuilding team. I like that ratio that Justin threw down earlier with the 45-55, and I think it'll be kind of close to that. So I'm going to take 45% side A, Garrett Wilson and Deshaun Watson.
45% side A. Justin, Joey's got his number in. Do you think the actual answer is over, under, way under, or exactly the same as 45%?
That's tough. This is definitely an interesting one because you got to kind of Mahomes and Garrett Wilson are kind of like the near nuts at their position, but like obviously QB is just so much more important. Deshaun Watson, like I don't know, it massages that side a little. That you're like, I'm gonna go under. Yeah, I think under the table. Yeah,
under on the Garrett Wilson and Deshaun Watson side of this trade. JL, do you think the actual answer is over, under, way over, or way under? Joey's guess at 45%.
45% is a delectable guess, but I am also going to take the under.
The double under reverse split the room, and we got lots of guesses in the chat here as well. Some right in line with you guys, some not so much. Uneasy Allies coming in here with 43%. Scampers thinks it's 8%. Grim with 2%. Nathan in the chat coming in with 50%.
There we go.
Andrea thinks it's 45.
Yeah.
Ricky Butts said 33, then said, actually, I take it back. I'm just saying whatever Dame says. Ladarius came in with 38%, Craig with 35%, and Dame with 28%. Well, the actual percentage of people that chose the Garrett Wilson and Deshaun Watson side of this trade over Patrick Mahomes was 39%. Joey, that means you're going to be 6 percentage points away. 1 away from getting in that 5 range. It's going to earn you 3 more points. Both Justin and John Luke, you're going to earn 2 points for correctly picking the correct answer. Justin, I want to ask you about Garrett Wilson because I feel like he's one of the players whose value changed the most absurdly from last season to this season. He's now, as you guys mentioned, some people have him as a top 3 dynasty wide receiver. How are you looking at him in redraft this year with Aaron Rodgers in town?
Yeah, I think for a redraft, he's kind of right at the end of that tier where at the end of the first round, beginning of the second round, you've got CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra, Devontae, and A.J. Brown. So like those 4. And then right after that is where I have Garrett Wilson. I do think there's a little more kind of macro risk with him where Rodgers runs a very slow-paced offense. He likes his veterans from before. So like what kind of target share can we expect out of the alpha and Garrett Wilson? And then the signing of Dalvin Cook. And like, I believe that Aaron Rodgers is the one that was actually pushing for that, him taking the last contract, getting his in-division rival, to come over. I think that might just be a bit of a more slow team. control the ball when you need to have the gunslinger. You have Rodgers there, but like I'm not expecting this to be like an electric offense. And hey, they also a very difficult division from a defensive standpoint, who they have to go against with their schedule. So I'm a little lower than market on Garrett Wilson, but if I end up with him in the middle of the second round, I'm still happy.
John Luke, now in Dynasty, how does your outlook for a player like Garrett Wilson change? Are some of those concerns alleviated?
The concerns around Garrett Wilson?
Yeah. If there's any concerns around him, new quarterback, elevating his play, continuing the success that he had at the end of last season.
I think Justin nailed it. There is some risk. I mean, we can't predict the future. As much as we hope that Garrett Wilson is going to live up to the talent that we've seen on the field so far, there's a ton of time left before we see that production really pan out. And so I'm bullish on Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson, I do have him in the top 5 of my dynasty wide receivers, but I'm not as worried long-term for Garrett Wilson. I do think the talent will win out in the situation. And I think his situation is actually really good for him right now, just because the Jets are just adding whatever they possibly can to give themselves the best chance to win the Super Bowl this year.
Man, Grim fan would be thrilled. Joey, do they have a shot? You think the Jets are a legitimate Super Bowl contender, or are they flirt with the playoffs contender?
I think they can win their division. I just think that, and the Chiefs are tough. There's just a lot of tough teams in the AFC. I think the Dolphins are actually really, really strong. I think their defense is really underrated. And I'm not just saying that because Tim's my brother, but I truly believe that.
I was going to say, you just made Tim a happy man. Ladarius in the chat was the closest, 38%, 1 percentage point away. Nice job. And Craig reminding us, guys, Joey has been over this. It is Gary Wilson. As we learned, Gary can be short for Garrett. Well, guys, the score after that one, Joey maintains his lead. Justin and JL are right behind him. Justin with 7, JL with 4 to Joey's 10. But Justin, it is time for your second poll. Are you ready?
Let's go.
I know you're more of a best ball guy, but we've got a dynasty poll for you. What I want to know is, who do you prefer in dynasty? Side A is Deebo Samuel. Side B is Terry McLaurin. What percentage of people chose Deebo Samuel in this poll?
Okay. Age-wise, I think Deebo's this is age 28 season. Terry, it's maybe 26. You got a little age gap. I think Terry's style, people just kind of would expect to have a bit more of a longevity in his career. Deebo's going a little above Terry in redraft right now, and you got San Francisco. This is tough. I'm not even sure which side I truly prefer. I think I would go Terry because I think you just get the more longevity and you're hopeful that they'll get a legit QB, or Sam Howell is that guy. So who do you prefer in Dynasty? Let's go Jackie Robinson. Let's go 42.
42% on the Deebo Samuel side. John Luke, do you think the actual percentage of people that chose Deebo is over or under Justin's guess of 42%?
42. Let's go.
Or way over, or way under, or exactly the same.
I have the cojones to go way over. No, I'm going to go over.
JL taking the over on this one. Thinks more people are on the Deebo side. Joey, what do you think here?
What would I need to have to get the way over? Be 58%?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to go way over.
Joey taking the way over. JL with the over. And Justin guessed 42%. Well, we got some guesses in the chat here. Scamper said, yuck. I don't think that's a number, but we'll take it into consideration. It's been recorded.
It's Roman numerals.
Carlos with 27. Uneasy Allies with 33. Nathan coming in with 41. Craig thinks it's 42, right in line with you. Grim says 53%. Ladarius with 46%. Dame coming in with 39. Mr. Scampers with 55. Ricky Butts thinks it's 49. Andrea says 60%. Well, the actual percentage of people that chose the Deebo Samuel side of this poll was 41%. Justin, that was about as good as it could have gotten for you without hitting it exactly right. You were going to earn 5 points, and you lock both of your opponents out from scoring anything there.
Well done. Nice guess.
And my process was flawed. I just looked it up now afterwards, but they're both 27. And so I was given a little more. Terry feels a little younger, but I guess it's just, hey, maybe other people thought that too. That you got so much leveling. We've got to you just got to keep climbing those levels.
It gets more and more meta the longer you play this game. And that is the most shocking thing I've heard today, that Deebo Samuel and Terry McLaurin are both 27. That feels wrong.
Mm-hmm. It feels like everyone's forgetting what Deebo looks like with the ball in his hands.
So you like running backs and they have longevity?
I don't like running backs, but luckily he's not a running back anymore. He's wide receiver. And dude, he is remember that? All right, that season, we brought it up on the show recently, the season where he got all those touchdowns. Go back and watch some of those touchdowns. They were hard earned. A lot of them were hard earned. It was not just like deep balls. Man was like making it happen on the field with a bunch of defenders. So I think Deebo is going to be probably better than most people expect this season. Maybe that's just me basing that off of what I've heard on the show, but it feels like people are down on Deebo.
I think it's a byproduct of people being very high on Brandon Ayuk after what we saw last year. There are enough concerns surrounding Deebo. They saw Brandon Ayuk step into a wide receiver 1 role, and Deebo's role may be ambiguous with Christian McCaffrey in that offense. That being said, I agree with you, JL. The talent is there, and talent often finds its way onto the field with the ball in its hands. I may not be too high on him, but the upside's there for a player like that. Joey, if I'm not mistaken, you're fairly high on Brandon Ayuk this year, right? Does that go into how you feel about Deebo?
Some. It's more about how far Brandon Ayuk's going behind Deebo Samuel. And for a while there, Ayuk was starting to catch up to him, but now Ayuk's falling back off for some reason. I don't know why. So I'm even kind of more in on Ayuk's value because it seems to be going down.
In redraft or in your best ball leagues, Justin, are you drafting either of these guys at a higher clip than the other?
This is like the first year that I think I'm actually going to be overweight on Deebo, because what he's done in the past, like, it really just continued to beat out from an efficiency standpoint. It wasn't predictable for him to continue to get those touchdowns. Like, it was, I mean, you watch on the field, it looked amazing, but like, those are really hard to project that like he was going to continue to that efficiency with that number of touches. This year with Brock Purdy at the helm, I think like if you look at the splits when Deebo was healthy last year, it was very impressive. And Ayuk really didn't shine when Deebo was out there. So I am in on Deebo this year. He's, I think, an ADP of like 34 right now. Terry's more like 42, 43. I also like Terry because that's also a great stacking partner. You go Terry, you get Sam Howell later on in like the 17th. And depending on what the rest of the draft looks like, that's a good kind of draft capital standpoint.
Yeah, cheap, low or high upside stack. I like that.
Yeah, get that elite QB early, and then okay, now I'll grab Terry, and I can go Sam Howell as my second one.
Yeah, it was my plan in Scott Fishbowl. I got that elite quarterback early, like Jared Goff, and then paired him with Sam Howell late. You include Jared Goff in that elite QB category, right?
I mean, hey, for the Scott Fishbowl, those completions are important.
Yeah.
We got Jake in here, said, I love you all, but I loathe the absence of colorful tracksuits.
That is fair. That's fair criticism.
We'll get on it. Also, shout out to Nathan in the chat, getting that one exactly right. Man, you guys are on fire today with that one. That is 3 correct answers. Two of them going.
Our guest exploded. Internal combustion. He's gone. Oh, he's back.
There we go.
Love it. Colorful tracksuit, but I mean, it's like a velvet sport coat.
I love it.
Okay, Jake, this is for you. Justin. I was like, where the hell did he go?
Justin, I have a question.
That definitely.
How many hot tubs have you sold with that jacket? You sold many hot tubs?
And insurance plan. Please include the insurance plan numbers on that.
You really just have to walk around and people just start giving you money.
Jacuzzis.
And they say, leave the jacuzzi on the back deck.
And you're like, okay.
3. Jake said, yes, thank you for delivering. Yes, and Justin delivers his hot tubs.
Yes.
So
very convenient.
Also, Skip said, what is that? Velvet?
This is basically just a prop room. So like you don't know what's coming up right here. We've got a large pickleball trophy. So like
more props. I love this game.
All right, well, guys, after that poll, the score is 10 points for Joey. Justin jumping into first place, 12 points, earning 5 on the last poll. JL sitting at 4, but it is Justin's turn. Oh, wait, no, Justin just went on that one. It is JL's turn here. John Luke, you ready for your poll, the penultimate poll of this game?
I am ready for the penultimate poll of this game.
Here we go. Which side do you prefer in 14-team Superflex tight end premium dynasty? A lot of qualifiers here. Side A is CeeDee Lamb, Travis Etienne in the 2023 14th pick of the second round. And side B is Jalen Waddle and Breece Hall. What percentage of people chose the CeeDee Lamb, Travis Etienne in 2023 late second side?
All right, let's break this down. CeeDee Lamb versus Jalen Waddle. It's mostly a wash. Maybe give the edge to CeeDee Lamb, but I don't know. Maybe someone values age, so I'll say mostly a wash. And then it's Breece Hall versus Travis Etienne in a second round, the last pick of the second round this year. Oh, okay. That's ETN plus that.
Yep.
I think people are going to lean side B here. And I think that amount of people that chose side A is going to be 38%.
38%.
44%.
44%. Final answer, JL?
43%.
43%. Locking that in?
Yes.
I was about to fight you. 43% from JL. Joey, do you think the actual percentage of people is over, under, way under, or exactly the same as JL's guess of 43%?
Queen B.
Queen B from Joey.
Dumb baby.
Justin, what are you doing here? Do you think it is the options are the same as Joey's? JL's guess was 43%. My
favorite part about this is that it's tight end premium because that changes everything.
Yeah, the late second round tight ends that you're going to be picking up in tight end premium. It's a different game.
I'm gonna go higher.
Taking the over from Justin. So JL locked in with 43%. Joey thinks it's exactly that. Justin taking the over. We got some guesses in the chat. Carlos coming in here with 53%. Uneasy Allies thinks it is 47%. Craig says 50%. Ricky Butts was 61%. Mr. Scampers was 69%. Andrea says 48%. And Mr. Scamper said JL changed his answer each time. That is the first time in FYF history on poll perception that has happened.
I have a question. Does my Queen B cover all three of his guesses?
No, just the final guess.
Thank you. Okay.
Grim Fan is with you, saying Queen B.
You get the whole high.
It's a good guess, JL. I
high.
really like that number.
Well, the actual percentage of people that chose CeeDee Lamb, Travis Etienne, and the 2023 2.14 in this poll was 46%. John Luke, the switch earned you some points, baby. And Joey, that was a decent use of the Queen Bee, but no points for you. Joe, you were going to earn 5 points for correctly guessing.
Be back in it, Craig.
That's good. Question. Was that poll after the Dalvin Cook again?
Yes. All of these polls are from the past couple days since that news is hit.
Yeah.
Or this one specifically is from yesterday.
Yeah.
All right, 46%. JL, that's going to bring your score up to 9. Justin, that's going to put you at 14 for correctly picking the over, and Joey at 10, meaning if JL gets this last one closest, he will tie Justin for first. If either Justin or Joey get closest on this last one, they will win sole possession of first place. Are you guys ready for our final poll in today's game?
So this is where I'm going to write it on my phone.
Ready.
Yeah, this is where you're going to write it on your phone or where you're going to write it on a piece of paper, wherever you got it. Also, we have an official retirement in here. Carlos said, if Fantasy Twitter picked B, I will officially retire as GM. You know,
Great career. Great career. Very impressive.
Does this mean my apology is now going to go through a new review process?
You'll have to fill out the paperwork, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'll
be dependent on whoever the new
interim
GM comes in. Yeah, I think.
They
might have a whole new process they want to do.
Maybe
let us know. Just let us know who the new GM is. They're paying in pistachios. You get each and every last one of them.
All the pistachios.
No pistachios on this show.
We pay in peanuts. We are not Fantasy Twitter though. All right.
Maybe we'll convert to pistachios. We'll think.
That's like more of the 2025 thing. That's in the future. We'll talk about that.
The world's changing, Joey.
The final poll, nothing to do with pistachios.
Love it.
Disappointing.
What round are you comfortable drafting Ramondre Stevenson in redraft PPR? Side A is round 3. Side B is round 4. Side C is round 5 or later. What percentage of people said round 3 in this poll? This is all of the information that we were given in that poll. What I want to know is what percentage of people said side A, round 3.
And this was from yesterday? Too?
Yeah, this was from late yesterday night.
Wow.
We got some people deep in thought here.
Oh, we're guessing side A.
Yeah, you're guessing side A. Everyone playing along, throw your answers in the chat. You guys have been on fire today. It's a good game on screen, but the chat's been killing it as well. This is a pretty high-scoring game here. Greg, what is the high score for poll perception? I'm forgetting. I think it might be in the 20s, but this is approaching it.
And so how do the points work for this? Is it closest? Is it
closest will get 5 points. Unless they're exactly right, you can still get 10. So if you nail it at the very end, you will get 10 points.
All right,
Justin, ask if that's ever happened on the show before.
Please do tell me.
I did it. I just wanted to say that.
Did you win that game?
I think Unicorn
I
did
did.
it before you,
That's
Joey.
what I did to the one. Who did?
Unicorn Fringe was the first one to do that a long time ago.
Yeah, well, I don't believe that's a real person,
won the whole thing.
Tell me the truth. No,
it was absolutely wild. Getting the game in here. Tommy stopping by saying down with the sickness and the show. Sup, fellas? Yeah, me and JL are very talented. All right.
Ambidextrous.
This last poll. What round are you comfortable drafting Ramondre Stevenson in redraft PPR? I assume you'd be comfortable no matter what, as long as you had your pajama pants on, but they didn't say anything about the pants wear on this question. What I wanted to know is what percentage of people said side A, round 3. We had some guesses come in the chat. Uneasy Allies with 23%. Nathan thinks it is 34%. Carlos says 20. Mr. Scampers with 18. Andrea with 50. Ladarius with 37. Grimfan with 88. Ricky Butts with 63. Dame with 60. And now I want to see what you guys had to say. 37 from Joey. Does that say 31 on your screen, Justin?
Yes, correct.
31 from Justin and
JL. 72, Jay?
12%.
12
okay.
From JL. So 37 from Joey, 31 from Justin, 12 from JL.
I think I went too high.
So I get I'm 25 or something to 34 around. Yeah, okay.
Well, the actual percentage of people that said round 3 was 28%. Justin, that is going to earn you 5 more points and the win with a very impressive score of 19 points. What a performance on your inaugural game of poll perception.
Well done.
Friend.
Well done. There you go.
I'd like to thank Fantasy Twitter after I didn't give you enough credit. You gave it back to me with all the wealth and the glory. And it's
beautiful.
This is for you all.
That is a beautiful story arc from the start to the finish.
A story of generosity, a story of humility. It's just incredible what happens here on Front Yard Fantasy. And it all happens in velvet. That's a promise.
Purple velvet, yeah.
Also, Scamper said wide array in here. There was a wide array, and it paid off for you. Got those points. And Scamper celebrating your win down here. And
Sorry about your house, Craig.
This just in, I reinstated myself as GM. Apology accepted, Justin.
Reinstated myself. Is that what Vince McMahon did, Joey? Did I get the wrestling reference?
Jail. Excellent reference, and you're pretty much right. Yeah, that's kind of what happened.
I made a wrestling joke.
He's sick now, and he's off on the sidelines again.
I made an untimely.
Well, maybe
no. It's good. You can't really make an untimely joke about that asshole.
Scampers in here saying the velvet did it. Well, maybe Vince just needs a velvet jacket to turn things around for him. Justin, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on, win our game, and share a little bit of your knowledge with us today.
I appreciate that. This has been fun. I talk in hyperbole sometimes, but like I'm going to say this with zero hyperbole. Most fun I have had on a fantasy football stream. This is awesome. Not just because
hell yeah,
boys.
I still would
pack it in. We're done.
Dang. I thought you were gonna add like 8 qualifiers like Scott Fish always does. My favorite 3 p.m. weekday, daily based fantasy football YouTube platform TV show.
Incredible, Justin.
Honestly, yep.
Go ahead, Joey.
I was gonna say, out of all the first time guests that we've had on this show, you're one of them, and so I just want you to know that.
Justin, we really appreciate you taking the time to come on with us and appreciate those comments. We had a ton of fun here playing this game with you today. That is going to be it for us today, everybody, but we'll be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern time and every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same place. Before you leave today, if you haven't already, make sure you go follow our guest Justin on Twitter at Justin Herzig and check out his best ball work over at Establish the Run. As we mentioned, he knows what he's talking about. The winner of Best Ball Mania 1. You're going to want to get those hot tips from him over there. Until tomorrow, though, we are out of here. Thank you so much, Justin. Thank you, Joey and JL. And thank you, everybody in the chat. Until tomorrow, see you on another time.
Bye-bye.
Hot tubs.
Yeah.